there. My name is Theresa and welcome back to my channel where I talk about the rays of light and the opportunities that they bring into your life. Now, the purpose of this particular video is to talk about the celestial events that the beings of light are referring to as the particle convergence. And it was on August 21st, 2017, and I referenced it in my other videos and wanted to help you understand more about that here because this was part of an energy update in July of 2017 on an older channel that is no longer available. So, wanted to have this reference video for you so that you could come back and check it out and see what it is that I was talking about. So essentially, this was an energetic window where all dimensions and timelines converged into one. And there was the new timeline creation, essentially, that happened for all of you and all of humanity over a period of 3 days. So it's essentially a time where the energy has peaked on the planet, where there's the collective has reached this really wonderful tipping point. And of course, as mentioned before, this affects all of humanity and, incarnated at this time, the animals, the planet's timeline, all of this. So, the beings of light have talked to me for a long time about different dates and what sorts of things will come up with that. So, like at the time of filming, they've talked about the 12th of September. They talked about the 20th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. They've talked about, as well as the 27th. They give me little dates, but to be quite honest with you, there are 3 periods of time that have been the most impactful on the planet. And one was the harmonic convergence that was back in August of 1987. Google that if you haven't heard of it. That was a big, big shift for humanity where a number of people came together. It was very, very powerful at a period of time where not many people were awakened to the potential of, the use of our human power and creating in the collective. The second one was this one of August 21st. In 2017. The third one is December 21st, 2017. And some of you are going to go, oh yeah, everybody was talking about December 21st, 2012. Well, that was also a different kind of time, but these are particular events that you're going to be able to feel a little bit more. So essentially, this is an energetic window where all the dimensions, all the timelines, all the potentialities converge into one. And a time where the energy is really peaked. So it's like we have a chance to take higher timelines. I'll explain to you more about how that helps in a second. And I'm trying to get the right notes here for you, because sometimes I have the notes written out from what's channeled, and then I get to filming and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to switch this up on you a little bit. So I've got to make sure that I've gotten all the details. So this window is a bit like the 0 point frequency. And what is that? The 0 point is the point between the in breath and the out breath, that pause. So what's happening is a reset for humanity, and some were headed down timelines that weren't so enjoyable, because we've had a couple different resets or potentialities for ascension, but now we've said, okay, pause, reset, this is what we're doing, and we now have these higher timelines that we get to walk into, which is really exciting to get to watch. This 0 point space, the 0 point frequency, is the space where miracles are created. It's where the space of infinite possibilities, this is what it's like to be one with sources in this place. Even though to humans it feels really still, to source energy it's a little bit chaotic. So it's slightly confusing, but it's a different description for based on our perceptions in a human body for what it feels like. This is where, when the timelines are completely rewritten, and it doesn't, this doesn't happen often as a collective. This happened over a period of 3 days. So this time we get to choose the higher vibrations. We get to recreate our lives. And this is happening on a soul level. And we have some influences, or had some influences as, humans. And while in physical form, this doesn't happen very often, where we rewrite our own history for the future. Does that make sense? We're rewriting the future story. And you're going to see a lot of these shifts coming into alignment between now and December 21st of 2017, which is the particle emergence, which is when we are all guaranteed to be on our new timelines. So we've had period of about 4 months to be shifting onto these newer timelines, which is a totally soul-led kind of situation that's happening. And essentially, you have to release the old to bring in the new. And this is where some of your really big dreams are coming online. Now, when I first filmed about this back in July, what they were showing me was like the Big Bang. And I said, really? Because that's kind of far out to be talking about this. But there's a theory with the Big Bang where it's very expansive, and then it also comes right back in and implodes on itself. But something that they haven't talked about is how it expands quite a bit again. Like maybe it's watch your lungs, how it's breathing. That's common to have that pause in between like that. So, but during this lifetime, that's what they're showing me is there's been this big expansion. We've expanded as much as we can, and then we're contracting back down for about 3 days to rebuild and recreate, and then we're coming back out again at the end of the 3 days. And it's something that we did not physically notice. It isn't something that we had a physical impact of on that particular day. But essentially this is, recreation, within the human collective, where we wanted to go as a human collective. And this event is now causing a huge awakening in the collective. You'll see even more, becoming more consciously aware within 2 to 3 years. And it's exciting to be filming this on the other side and to be watching how it's affecting the collective, because something that's very common right now is that people are feeling anticipation of the new, but not everybody's aware of what the new is. They just know that they're ready for it and they're excited about the shifts, and stuff is coming out about how they deal with that. You'll see one of my energy updates talking about that for September, October 2017 if you're interested in seeing that, or if you're watching this in the future and want to take a look back on what those shifts were like. So those of you watching this are part of the collective that were really ready for these shifts. Even those not watching this, of course, are ready. There's a couple other people that are talking about this. So how it works. Each dimension is 2 potential higher timelines that opened up, and these are of a higher light. And I can hear people saying like, well, what does this higher light feel like? I'll get to that in just a second. Let me explain to you how the dynamics work. Those in their higher self only had 2 optional upgrades in timelines, meaning like going up into higher dimensions. Those working from a very high vibration had 6 optional higher frequency timelines for 6, separate dimensions. So when you hear people talking back, looking back on this time going, man, there was a splitting of the tribes, this is why. You've got, 2 big splits where people are only jumping 2 timelines or 2 dimensions, and then you've got people that are jumping to far higher dimensions, and it's really exciting. And I'm hearing some of you a bit confused, but I thought we were just going to the 5th dimension. Well, you've got some people that are jumping to higher timelines and even higher dimensions within that. So kind of exciting stuff to get to see this and this much light coming into people. And because that's what this is. It's about housing more light. It's about your higher self deciding to shift to a more harmonious timeline a lifetime of events, which is what a timeline really is. And your potentialities and that sort of thing, and creating in the moment where it is that you're going to be going, and having the potential to be able to reach that, if that makes sense. So but yeah, these are the ascension timelines, and what do those timelines look like? What does that feel like? This is improved finances, far less suffering, more joy, feeling more empowered in your life, and having more control over where it is your life is going, and realizing how to have that influence. Some people can say, oh, control doesn't exist. Control exists. Control over others doesn't exist. Control over your own destiny absolutely does. So, and you can impact it in a certain way. Ego-based decisions, obviously, that's a different type of kind of control. But having impact over where your life is going, that form of control you absolutely do have. Some of you are going to be working a career or owning a business that you love, with clients that are heart-based and more alignment with your own personal values, living in houses with neighbors that you prefer, living in communities that you prefer, living on land that you prefer, that you are more in alignment with. So these are the sorts of things. You can have greater connections and the people that you work with that you love. And last, obviously not least, is having that life partner that you want that is more in alignment with you, and living a life that you love. These are your higher potentials, and you can tell because there's people willing to take action on that and people that aren't, as in terms of which direction that you're going. And this was made on your options were determined by your soul, your higher self, your I am presence, and by your frequency and your personal DNA. And some of your DNA was being upgraded before that last eclipse, and some people were more tired during August, having a difficult time and feeling a little bit more conflicted and lots of stuff coming up. And that's because your body was really shifting and could feel what was coming. So at the time of filming, I created something called the 12 rays in 12 days. Sometimes I call it 12 days, 12 rays. So what originally that was for back in July was before the 21st of August, there were 12 days and you received one ray of light for each day, and there's 12 different rays of light, and it was to help upgrade your DNA. That is something that is still available, and the link is down below in the description box if you are interested in that. And this will help bring in the light encodings of the different rays. And this is always, a constant benefit for you if that's something that you'd like to take part in. And at the time, though, it was helping raise a vibration for your body before the timelines. And but any time is basically good for this. So this event and how it's affecting now is, this is an out with the old, in with the new phase. And at the time of filming, people are feeling a little bit more anxious and a little bit more excited in some cases, in terms of feeling the potentials of where this is going and the event starting to shift so that you can get into your light. Remember, if you're feeling overwhelmed during the process at any time that you're watching this or in the future, there is the 30 days of light that'll help you shift. You can set the intentions personally for where you'd like the healing to go for you. And I'm excited to be watching to see where these timelines shift for everyone by December 21st, 2017, which is when they're all going to be in place and we really walk into 2018. Even Christmas, I think, and Hanukkah are going to feel different for people in that new year, and Kwanzaa, and that end of the year is just going to feel different. We're going to look back on the past few years and go, holy smokes. But walking into 2018, it feels like a much more expansive time for all of us. And they want everybody to come together in living their higher potentialities with the life partners that they want, living where they want, in the house that they want, with these sorts of situations. So it's an exciting time. So thank you for watching. I wish you a really great month and great year. And please give this video a like. And also please feel free to share if this is something that resonates for you. Please share it with somebody, subscribe, hit that little bell button so that you can be notified of any updates of my videos. So awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing, for your love. Lots of love. Bye.